Do you need an attitude check? How about an attitude adjustment? It's so very important that we're keeping the right attitude. Our attitude towards others and even towards ourselves is a direct reflection of our mental mindset. Our mindset controls our environment, or what I like to call our own personal universe. The devil and his band of ghouls, they would love nothing more than to keep you in a negative and defeated mindset. One that is full of doubt, and one that tells us we're not good enough. Or even that we're better or superior to others. Personally, I believe having an overinflated mindset that we're better than others is as damaging to ourselves as thinking that we're not good enough. This type of mindset makes our attitude towards others downright rotten, as it fills us with a false sense of identity. Sure, in business or in sports, competition can be healthy. It pushes companies and their employees to strive to be the best in the marketplace. But when we're not at work and we're out and about in public, in our free time, or when we're hanging out with friends and family, we can come across as arrogant and a little self-righteous. And no one ever wants to associate with people who talk down to them or is just flat out rude, especially as Christians. There are some Christians out there who call themselves Christians and then preach we are all God's children and we all should be treated the same, and then turn around and treat the employees at the grocery store, the gas station, or restaurants extremely poorly and demanding to be waited on hand and foot. So again, I ask, are you keeping the right mindset and the right attitude? Ephesians 6:12 reads, "For we wrestle not with flesh and blood, but against principalities, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, and against wicked spirits in high places." Life can get overwhelming, stressful, and challenging. When we feel this way, it's easy to snap on others. They say we hurt the ones we love the most. A short time ago, a very nice person was chatting with me on social media and said they were feeling alone and not quite sure what was going on with their friendship with their best friend, or if they did or said something wrong, but all of a sudden, out of nowhere, their friend unleashed a verbal assault on them, again, for no reason whatsoever. And since that argument, they hadn't spoken since. They said it was like someone reached in and just ripped their heart out. They said they told each other in the past everything, even personal stuff. Of course, as an outsider, without hearing from both sides of the story, both parties made it kind of difficult to pinpoint exactly what was going on, but I asked a couple key questions and realized they did nothing wrong at all, except for meeting up with their friend on the wrong day. I told them that no matter how close we think we are with someone, there are personal things in our people's lives which they fear talking about, as it would bring shame, embarrassment, or even divulge that maybe they were falling behind with their personal finances. We all know how the economy is completely pinching the everyday people right now, the middle class, and no one is going to admit that they're behind on their payments or being foreclosed on, or that their vehicle is about ready to be repossessed. But this type of pressure alone is what caused their friend to snap, and I advised maybe give it some time before reaching back out, as we all know time heals all wounds. Time also allows one space to self-reflect on how they treated their friend. It's why we need to be always mindful of keeping the right mindset. Philippians 4:8 says, "Focus on whatever is true, noble, right, pure, lovely, admirable, excellent, or praiseworthy." Even if we lose it all and ruin our credit, our heart's still going to beat, and God's still going to be in charge. Sometimes with Christians, God will shatter people into a million pieces who aren't in alignment with them, but He will never leave you there unless you turn your back on Him. Being shattered is the starting point of being built back better, the righteous way, God's way. Half a century ago, I was in my mid-20s, and my cousin and I had started a business, and after the first year was really taken off, our business was on a very busy street corner and right in front of a major public bus stop. Literally, people would get off the bus and walk directly right into our store. One bus came at the top of the hour every hour all day long. After another year, my cousin really desired to go back to college to get his degree, to work in a field that was near and dear to his heart. So we parted ways, and a couple years later, business was still excellent. But next to our store was an old dilapidated house that sat on a huge vacant lot, or a lot with this house, but someone had purchased it and was going to develop it and turn it into a professional medical office that would probably hold 100 or so workers. This was great because I owned a fruit and produce business and health food, right? And had recently expanded into bring in dry good grocery items. I figured, hey, if 100 people worked there, at least half of them would become my new customers. And with another couple years of increasing sales, I would be able to bring home my significant other from work, who was also the mother of my children. And so she could live out her dream of being a stay-at-home mom. And we both wanted our children to be raised properly, and not at a daycare system. That was the goal. But once the developers broke ground and started tearing down that old house, I started getting a rodent, a rat infestation problem. And I remember getting to work one morning and I opened the door and I walked in and the rats had eaten and torn through half of my fruit displays. I had to close down for the day and to clean up the mess and restock. Not only did I miss a day of sales, but I also had to spend over my budgeted amount to restock the store. The next week, the developers had taken traffic caution cones and they had blocked off the entire front entrance to my store so their semi-trucks could move in and out freely. Thankfully, I had a side entrance. Some of my customers knew about it and could still shop, but I was furious and I called the city to complain, but I was told, sorry, they had bought a permit to do so and we allowed it. Because fruit and produce is perishable, in 2 days I had to throw away my complete inventory into the dumpster again, and I kept having to restock, and with the construction, my customers soon found another store to shop at. The bus stop I relied on for my constant flow of traffic also stopped because of that big construction and the trucks. They moved the bus stop in front of my competitor store right across the street, and 2 months later I was out of business and creditors started calling, and I had to pay up. After losing so much money and being in debt for thousands and thousands of dollars, I felt like my life was ending. I was stressed out, but I believe I kept the right attitude, and the door of opportunity into the automotive sales industry opened up for me. I got hired on by the right company and the right people. They were honest people, and they really only cared about selling quality vehicles at fair prices. And this is exactly what I needed. A high income producing business and being trained the right way. And if I hadn't kept the right attitude through it, I probably would have been so uptight and bitter and frustrated that I would have been trapped in my own mind like a prisoner and not have seen the door right in front of me open. Medically, keeping the right attitude is healthy. John Hopkins' medicine article says a positive attitude helps us age better. And if there's a family history of heart disease, those who had a positive outlook were a third less likely to suffer a heart attack. So it's smart to stay positive and keep the right attitude. By doing so, you'll get help as you need it, when you need it. As people want to help other positive thinkers. And bosses, they like promoting people who have the right and the best attitudes. Don't become discouraged in doing good. You will reap rewards if you do not give up. That's from Galatians 6:9. We can develop a negative mindset just going through life and dealing with its own set of challenges. So how can we maintain the right attitude? First and foremost, pay attention to what shows we watch, what books we read, and music we listen to. I used to love professional wrestling. Growing up, a neighborhood friend of mine turned me on to it, and I watched it nonstop. I was absolutely hooked. Later in life, when I started working in my career, I started noticing that a day after a night of watching wrestling, my attitude was off. And whether or not customers or coworkers noticed, I sure did, and I felt I was off. I didn't feel happy and upbeat, and this happened a few times, so I stopped watching it altogether, and about 10 years later, I tried it again and had the same outcome. Violent movies, TV shows, And those could also be dangerous to the mind. Same with music. It's not one show, one song, one movie. It's when we constantly get bombarded with it. Almost every channel and every news channel, we wake up, and we turn the news on and scroll through our phones. It's rarely getting our head right for the workday. And we go drive into work, we're listening to music with bad lyrics, or we listen to a political podcast, we get uptight or get into work and our head's already a wreck. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, what to read or to listen to, but just to be aware and to ask yourself, by consuming it, are we making it easier or harder to keep the right attitude?